Okay, so if you're writing a research paper and you have a lot of different sources, Google Docs has a built-in tool that allows you to keep track of those sources and then lets you insert those sources as citations or references at the end when you're done. And we're going to go over how that works right now. So the first thing that you do, well, you probably want to write your paper. So I have kind of a fake paper written here. And then you go to Tools and look at Citations. And that'll pop up a little helper on the right-hand side of the screen. And I've added a few citations already, but we're going to look at these and talk about how they got in here. So the first thing that you notice is that there's a drop down and it shows you the 3 different styles of citations that this tool can insert into your work. So you can put all the citations in there. You don't have to decide what style you're using until later. So we won't use this drop down yet. What we're going to do is left click on one of these sources that I've put in. So right now the option is just to cite it, but we're not ready to do that. We're going to do edit. So you have some choices here. I'm going from the top down. The main driver of how this information is categorized at the bottom is what type of source it is. So for this one, I said website. And then these questions here come up differently depending on what source you selected. So I filled out some of the information, including the publisher and the URL and the date it was published. And let's go back and just look at one of these other citations. We'll go down a few. Let's edit this one. And I said that this was a journal article, and it gives you different options here on how you accessed it. So you see the rest of this is being driven by the fact that I said it was a journal article. Not all of these fields are required, but they do put blue asterisks on the ones that they want. Otherwise, the tool's not going to be able to put everything into the paper that it needs to. So once you're done adding your citation sources, you come into your paper, and let's say this sentence here is from a source that you want to cite. You just put your cursor, we'll put it right before the punctuation mark at the end, and we'll say it's this second one. So just hover over it, left click on cite, and then it puts in the citation. So we already had this on Chicago style, and it puts a citation in, but it wants you to put in the page number. So when you add the citation on the right-hand side, if you don't have to specify the exact page number because maybe it's a lot of different pages. So here you would just replace that number sign with the page number. But these different styles work in different ways. So that's Chicago. If you were to do MLA and then cite the same work, it would only have the last name of the author, not the date. And if you were to do it in APA, it would have the last name of the author, the date, and the page number. So it knows the different requirements for the different citations. One thing that you do need to keep in mind is if you're citing a direct quote or you're putting a little piece of information after the last name of an author, that's done a little bit differently. So you should view this as a tool to help you, but it's not always going to know exactly what you're doing. So the way that it does these citations, they're meant to be at the end of a sentence. So the other handy thing that the citation tool does is that it will build your bibliography at the end. So you have to be careful. Depending on the different styles, it's called something different. We'll just say we're doing one for the MLA style, so we'll change it to call it works cited. But let's go to the end of our awesome paper here, and we will go down to the bottom right, left click on Insert Bibliography. And one of the things that it does is it doesn't put it on a new page, but these styles oftentimes require that you do put your bibliography on a new page. It probably looks better anyway. So in this case, we're going to insert a break, and the type is a page break. And we'll go down so our bibliography is on the right page. We're going to call it a works cited. So after we changed the name to works cited, you'll notice that it put in all of the citations, but we didn't necessarily use all of these. So I put in the inline citations for 3 sources, but it put all 4 in the works cited. So just be careful. You can just go through now and just delete one of them. So don't think I use this one. We'll backspace, And there you go. So it got the hanging indent right. So this is using the APA style. Your first line is all the way to the left, and then you have a hanging indent until you're on to the next subject, and then it goes back. Let's insert this in the Chicago style, see what it does. Insert bibliography. And it still has a hanging indent, but you'll notice it did the information differently. So for when we did the APA, it had the last name, it had the author's name, then the date, then the title. Here it has the author's name and the date, but there's only a year and there's no parentheses. So there's all sorts of little differences that this tool knows, and it helps you to get right. So if you found that helpful, in this next video, we're going to go into how to customize your page numbers in a Google Doc. You can start over in different sections, but it's not super intuitive how it works. So I will see you in that next video. Thanks.